Hello. Recently, the swine industry has been facing the rapid spread of diseases that threaten pig farming, such as ASF, highly pathogenic PRRS, PED, and PRDC, and the scale of damage has become so serious that it is difficult to predict. Recently, global swine companies have also been making enormous investments in biosecurity and hygiene for these reasons, and I believe you are already very well aware of their importance. From this perspective, I would like to explain a program to overcome mortality rates using the pure chlorine dioxide product, Agella. The types of viruses and bacteria that mainly occur in pig farms include more than 11 types of viruses, more than 8 types of respiratory bacteria, and more than 7 types of digestive bacteria, totaling more than 26 types. In cases of single bacterial infection, antibiotic treatment is effective, but in cases of mixed infection, treatment difficulties are often encountered. For example, mixed infections such as virus-bacteria co-infection or virus-virus simultaneous infection are problematic. For example, mixed infections such as PRRS with Glycerella or simultaneous infections such as PRRS with influenza cause chronic damage due to mixed infections, resulting in continuous deterioration of farm performance. This is very closely related to farm performance, and when looking at farms with MSY below 18 pigs, it can be seen that in most cases, among the 26 mixed infectious agents in the entire farm, more than 12 viruses and bacteria act together. Therefore, in order to improve performance and reduce mortality, it is necessary to reduce the number and quantity of these pathogens. The number and quantity of viruses and bacteria are proportional to farm performance, so continuous efforts to reduce them are required. When looking at the main causes of piglet mortality in PRRS-affected farms, most cases are due to bacterial mixed infections caused by PRRS. Therefore, when a disease situation occurs, it is necessary to simultaneously implement short-term intensive treatment that can minimize mortality and a long-term plan to reduce the number and quantity of viruses present on the farm, especially the number and quantity of bacteria. In most general farms, more than 10 to 12 types of viruses and bacteria are constantly present. Therefore, efforts must be made to reduce the number and quantity of viruses and bacteria on one's own farm to less than half, and thorough management practices and blocking of the infection circulation chain must be implemented to prevent mixed infections. Now, we will take a closer look at drinking water disinfection and air disinfection for preventing horizontal transmission, which is a plan to reduce mortality. In other words, to continuously reduce the number and quantity of viruses and bacteria on the farm. First, the selection of disinfectants for drinking water disinfection and air disinfection is extremely important. If the wrong disinfectant is selected, it may instead cause severe stress to pigs or produce negative effects. Therefore, the criteria for selecting disinfectants on farms are very important. First, it must be absolutely safe for pigs. When drinking water disinfection and air disinfection are performed, the disinfectant must be absolutely safe even if pigs drink freely. Disinfection itself is also stress, so it must be a safe disinfectant that does not cause stress to pigs, and it must also be safe for the pig's nasal mucosa and skin. Second, while being safe, it must completely eradicate viruses and bacteria and other single-cell organisms. Disinfectants that are effective only against some bacteria and viruses can be considered ineffective. Third, it must react with viruses and bacteria before reacting with organic matter. Fourth, very importantly, resistance must not develop. In addition, fifth, it must be effective in removing gas and odors. The only product that satisfies all 5 of these conditions at the same time is Agella, which is based on pure chlorine dioxide. In the case of Agella, the oxidation reduction potential is 0.95, which is lower than that of oxygen, so it cannot damage multicellular organisms, making it safe for pig nasal turbinates and body disinfection. It inactivates all 26 types of pathogens present on the farm, and because resistance does not develop, pathogens do not become stronger again. In addition, it removes ammonia and its causative bacteria, and while removing biofilm, supplies safe drinking water, and can be considered the only disinfectant of its kind. In this way, it simultaneously solves 7 functions, has already been recognized for safety by many farms, and has made a significant contribution to improving farm performance. Now, let us look at drinking water disinfection. Pig waterborne diseases can be understood as diseases that can be transmitted through water. Water is the most important factor for pig growth and sometimes an essential element for pig growth, but it can also act as a trigger that transmits disease. Major viruses and digestive bacterial diseases such as ASF, swine influenza, PRRS, and PED are transmitted through water, and water disinfection must be carried out to prevent waterborne diseases, which is the most basic practice for preventing waterborne infections on farms. In addition, when old farm drinking water pipelines are cut open, as shown in the picture, most are found to be accumulated with biofilm causing mixed infections. If drinking water pipelines on farms are not properly managed, viruses and bacteria multiply and form colonies of pathogenic biofilm. Water accounts for 70% of a pig's life, but determines 90% of diseases. Careless drinking water disinfection management can become a cause that destroys the pig's critical defense barrier. Therefore, to prevent diseases and block mixed infections such as Glasarella, drinking water disinfection must be performed, and especially in barns where mortality is high or waterborne diseases such as PRRS occur, drinking water disinfection must be implemented. Next is the method of drinking water disinfection. Barns with high mortality, barns where stunted pigs frequently occur, barns where the disease circulation chain must be blocked, and barns where PRRS mixed infections frequently occur must undergo drinking water disinfection. The installation position is on the line in front of the water tank. A drinking water doser is installed and connected to the Agella concentrate container, and disinfectant is automatically supplied at a ratio of 1,000:1. On farms, only disinfectant needs to be added to the concentrate container. Management is convenient. Biofilm is completely and continuously removed, and by always providing safe and clean water, it is very effective in preventing waterborne and digestive diseases in pigs. The following photos show farms currently implementing water disinfection, where simply pouring into the concentrate container allows automatic drinking water disinfection at a 1,000:1 ratio. With continuous use, biofilm is removed after 3 to 6 months, preventing waterborne diseases, and being especially effective in preventing digestive diseases. To summarize drinking water disinfection once again, target barns include barns with high mortality and many stunted pigs, barns where the disease circulation chain must be blocked, piglet barns, and in severe PRRS cases, farrowing barns and gestation barns should also be included. The method is to connect a drinking water doser and concentrate container to the line in front of the water tank and use it as an automatic supply system. The recommended ratio is 1,000:1. Next is air disinfection. In general, compared to conventional spraying methods, aerosol methods provide approximately 2 to 3 times higher sterilization effectiveness and use much less water. High-pressure sprayers used on farms are suitable for environmental improvement, and to achieve disinfection effectiveness, ULV disinfectors, that is, ultra-low volume disinfectors, must be used. Particles with a diameter of 15 to 35 microns remain suspended at an appropriate level and provide excellent sterilization effects. When calculating the reduction factor of surviving airborne bacteria using log reduction values, high-pressure spraying achieves only a 2 to 3-fold reduction, whereas ULV shows a superior reduction of 1,000-fold to approximately 30,000-fold. Next, we will explain the air disinfection method as a recommended hygiene and biosecurity program to comprehensively reduce mortality and increase post-weaning growth rates. ULV disinfectors must be used, and farrowing barns and piglet barns should be disinfected once per day, but depending on the farm's disease situation, this can be increased to 2 to 3 times per day. Whole farm disinfection should be carried out twice per week, and the recommended dilution ratio is 10.1 to 20.1. Based on 100 pyong, approximately 10 to 20 liters of diluted disinfectant is recommended. In the case of Agella, it is safe for pigs during air disinfection, so there is the advantage that no separate ventilation is required. Air disinfection not only prevents horizontal transmission, but also continuously lowers the concentration and density of viruses and bacteria in the air on farms, and in the long term, it is a highly efficient disease control method that reduces the number of viruses and bacteria. So far, we have explained how to reduce farm mortality and increase post-weaning growth rates through water disinfection and air disinfection using Agella. After watching this video, if you have further questions regarding farm consulting, product inquiries, usage methods, or demonstrations from actual farms, please contact the company's PM Direct line and we will explain in detail. Thank you.